Hello, I am Thomas Furman. I am an IAA grad student and one of the filmmakers on the post-apocalyptic film Into the Fire. At any IAA film premiere, the filmmakers will explain the filmmaking process to the audience as they present the film they worked so hard on to make. Unfortunately, this film will not be able to get a public premiere due to COVID-19. However, I will explain the process and structure of the IAA film class taught by one and the only Mr. Lucero, for all those who are interested to know the making of Into the Fire. Mr. Lucero structures the film class into three primary parts: development, pre-production, and most importantly, principal photography. Once the film is wrapped, it is brought over to the editing suite where the IAA editing class cuts the film and makes the final draft. Time to dive into each section. Development. From day one, Mr. Lucero teaches the students film theory, film equipment, and film vocabulary. Along with learning the first two classes focuses on the pitch, students can share their ideas on what film they want to make as a class. We vote on which ideas we'll make for the semester. After, we'll all come to an agreement. We start the task of making the story and the screenplay. Writing a screenplay might sound easy, just writing the story on paper, but it is compromising on every student's thoughts on the story that just make it challenging. Pre-production. Each week, starting from development all the way through pre-production, Mr. Lucero shows the class two anatomy of the scenes. Which this entails is the class watches a scene from a movie that has something to do with the movie genre we are working on, or the movie is rich with filmmaking techniques. While watching the scene, we analyze every detail of every frame to understand how the director is using techniques to capitalize on the moment. Some of the films we watch anatomy of scenes are Lynn Ramsey's 2017 film You Were Never Really Here, Michael Powell's 1949 film Small Black Room, John Hillcoat's 2010 film The Road, and Michelangelo Antonioni's film 1975 film The Passenger. Along with the anatomy of the scenes, the class gets to work and begins to gather props, light, and pick locations to shoot at. Principal photography, the most important part of the filmmaking process, and my personal favorite, is the shooting of the film. Writing the screenplay is the first draft. The second draft is how the director shoots his film. Every student gets to direct their own scene and gets to make their personal choices for that scene. If they're in charge of an action scene, they're the ones who gets to get the final okay on the choreography. If they're in charge of an emotional scene, they decide on how emotional they want to make the scene using actors and camera angles. When watching a movie, most audiences only look out for the actors, but the people in the background are really who make or break the film. The director's job is to make the film he sees fit using the crew and cast. The director of photography or cinematographer is in charge of setting up the lights. You can't make a film without lights. The sound mixer is in charge of obtaining the audio of each scene and communicating with the boom operator on what audio they want and if the boom operator is doing a good or bad job. The camera operator has to follow the director's orders, and the film is the shot the director wants. One of the many important rules Mr. Lucero teaches you is if the camera doesn't see it and if the mic can't hear it, it doesn't exist. Each week the class follows a schedule, and the first director makes until the last day of shooting. Once the film wraps, everyone celebrates and feels fulfilled from the filmmaking process. Post-production. The editing class takes all of the footage shot and plays around with it until they make the final product. First, we start with the assembly and the rough cut, where we cut the footage together. Then we work on color correction, where we choose what color to use for each shot or not. Then we work on sound design, making the audio in the film audible and applying background audio to it, set a tone for the film. Along with the sound design, we compose our own music with the help of the Jamaican artist Toploader. Once we finish cutting the film, the final draft has been made and it sits on a shelf until the big premiere. Into the Fire came a long way from the pitch, and I am proud to premiere this film for everyone to see. IAA Film's class is a one-of-a-kind class. No other class in the state of Illinois can top this class. Mr. Lucero is the best producer and teacher I have ever worked with, and I'm glad to be a grad student of his. He will push all his students to be creative and work hard for the goals. And I hope every audience member may enjoy Into the Fire.